Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Average Superstar TV. I'm your host, Lauren Lepre. Please give me that subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. We have a new show every Monday morning at 5 a.m. And this week we are back in the independent film world. This time we are in the horror community with independent filmmaker Billy Pon, best known for Circus of the Dead. Billy, welcome to the show.
Dude, what's going on? It's like 5 a.m. and it's like, I don't even know what the hell I'm doing up this early. What the hell's happening here?
Wink,
now,
wink.
You mentioned Circus of the Dead, but I'm also known for my new movie, Two Guys in One Cup. You might have seen that on Pornhub.
Yeah. If not, everyone could go to Pornhub right now and watch it.
Yeah.
You and I have a lot of mutual friends. Met you a couple months ago, finally in person at Texas Frightmare. You've definitely been quite active with your film and among other things. I mean, you have other projects besides that. But I guess let's hit the rewind button. When did you know you wanted to be in the film business?
Honestly, I mean, you could go back to the 70s. I think when I saw Star Wars, and it was like I was seeing like another movie, and they showed a trailer for Star Wars, at the drive-in, and I was like in back of the truck, just watching as a kid, and thought, holy crap, this is what I want to do, is tell stories. Then fast forward just a little bit to the VHS revolution when it come out, and then I stumbled on Chainsaw Part 2, and then that made me go back to Chainsaw Part 1, and that made me fall in love with horror movies.
Right, and you're based right out of Texas. Were you kind of going around back? Were you going around back even before it was trendy to go to those filming location spots, or did you?
Yeah, we did all that, and I mean, I even met Gunnar and Ed Neal from Chainsaw back in, I want to say like 85 when I was like 15 years old. I didn't even have a license yet because I was young, so it's like my mom had to drop me and a buddy off. This is before conventions were big. It was actually an art convention or something where they did like fantasy art,
Okay.
And I don't know how we ended up there, but we ended up there, and I took a chainsaw blade and had it signed and all this stuff. This is 85. Nobody knew about that stuff back then. But I remember telling those two guys that I'm going to make a movie someday, and out of Texas and all this kind of stuff. And they're really, helpful, I mean, I got people coming and, saying they're a filmmaker too. That's why I try to pay it forward, because that's what Gunnar and Ed did to me when I was young.
Absolutely, brother. I mean, it all starts somewhere. It's great that you have at least some stories before conventions got trendy. Also, I'm not putting conventions down, obviously, that they're awesome, but yeah. It's cool because, like, I remember a few friends of mine told me in the 80s they had Fangoria had like horror conventions, and they weren't big at all. And he said, listen, he told me one time he was there and Anthony Perkins was there.
Yeah,
Donald Pleasance was there. Like this wet dream, and there was just no one showed up. You're just like, could you imagine you took that now? I mean, good God, if you ever could.
Well, you remember Frightmare this past year. I mean, you couldn't even walk in there at certain times of the day.
I can tell you, for a guy who's on the East Coast here in Philly, Jersey area, that I've been to every con, and I would put I'd definitely say Texas Frightmare and Monster Mania are like the biggest attended boom, it by far. I just think I put Horror Hound pretty close too, because they're at that convention center, but I dug the whole idea of, I'm kind of glad they moved. They announced the movie. The only reason it wasn't the venue, it was the damn airport is the only thing I didn't like.
I think I'm with you on that one. Yeah, the parking and all that stuff. Now, I think because I only go to Texas ones pretty religiously, especially when I'm invited. But I did the Days of the Dead, I guess, when Circus first come out. But I don't know the Mad Monster guys and all that. And I'm hoping to catch on a little bigger, so I start getting invites for that. But when I go to that Cult Classic convention in Bastrop, it's gotten a lot busier too, but it's still small enough where I get invited to sit at people's tables and just shoot the shit with them, and that's pretty cool. That's where you make some really good connections and just get to know.
Yes,
but you get a handshake, or a side hug at Frightmare. Sometimes it's so busy.
It's what I totally follow you with this. It's kind of like over here we got Chiller Monster Mania and New Jersey HorrorCon, and some of them are more powerful than the others. So when the one that's really strong, you're lucky if you get a conversation, but one that's a little more toned down, you could talk to agents, you could talk to them, you could go out to dinner with them, and because really they're there to get money in the end. I mean, you're not here to stop the money train to talk to you. Yeah. So.
And I don't blame them. It's like when I started this whole thing with Circus of the Dead, whereas I worked for a TV station, I was trying to talk the millionaire boss into investing in the movie. And I remember they had these big meetings because before they give any money away, they want you to dot the I's and cross the T's on everything you could possibly imagine. And I remember them saying, now this was kind of a little bit before The Walking Dead got big and all this. So it was like the horror pie. They said, the horror pie, Billy, you don't understand. There's only so much of the horror pie that you get. And it's, compared to the regular thing or comedy and all this, they're giving me all these explanations. But I just wanted to say is like, you guys, but I don't think I'm going to be as good at that kind of stuff as doing a romantic comedy. I mean, I'm all about horror is what I do. But luckily I talked him into it and the rest was history and stuff like that. I didn't make the millionaire any richer. But he has a lifelong friend. He's a big mentor to me and stuff like that. So I learned a lot of stuff. So maybe someday my career will take off and I can give back in a charitable way in his name or something for what he did to me in the early days.
Yeah, it's rough because you were on a trial and error. You had something you believed in, you were hoping, but when you dig in more, now that you've been in the game a while, you understand that like physical DVD, physical media in the horror movie community, I don't think it is at all going away. We all love to collect, but worldwide, that's kind of gone now, and ticket sales are kind of gone. So now you're down to your streaming outlets, which you and I know so well. And
yeah, you can't trust the
numbers. Yep, they get smaller.
Well, when I first started with Circus, it's like I guess we hired some sales agents to try to sell us, to these things, and I bet they come up with probably about 35 potential distributors, and they shipped it out, and you'd get a weekly update about who's biting and who's passing and all this kind of stuff. And a lot of those early ones said. They didn't want to have anything to do with DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff, saying there's no money there. But to me, as an indie guy, I mean, that's where I've made the chunk of mine because horror fans are different. They want it. And if you have a different cover, they want it. If you have whatever, I mean, I got to have two of them, that kind of thing.
It's even true with like a Friday the 13th or a Halloween. They don't change it, but if someone does new artwork, they want the whole collection right next to have a big dick contest, almost like look at me,
They collect everything under the sun. I've been selling my Texas Chainsaw Massacre stuff. I bought in my teens all the way up to now. I saved my Circus of the Dead, but and I saved the personalized stuff I got from celebrities throughout the year, but anything else is just like, I guess I'm getting off that collectible thing. Now I just keep, things that mean something. I got the Billy Bob Bear from Showbiz. He's for a top secret movie thing I was working on. Then you got like Dollboy and stuff. So I only collect my stuff now mostly, besides that stuff.
I could tell you and any of the filmmakers watching this, if I filmed The Dark Military, I would tell you the top two profits out of the three, it was the Blu-rays. That was it. We gave them 4.5 hours of the 90-minute movie, audio commentary, and then all the specials, the music videos, the making of, a little this, a little that, slideshow. And then after that was the logo, with the T-shirts and the stickers and God matches up the glasses and stuff. I'm trying to match it up right, but basically the intellectual property, the property. And then 3 is obviously your checks from your streaming outlets, and you're kind of just like, sometimes you're just like, why am I doing this? And other times you're like, that's kind of cool, but So just so you know, everybody, what you're getting into, everybody kind of thinks like the number one issue I think a lot of indie filmmakers believe is that you make a film, you hand it off, They hand you money back, and you're even or double or triple in profit. You're just like, you don't even know the half of it because
it doesn't work that well.
No, and I was getting because I put so much money, aka my wallet, in the marketing for the Dark Military. I was putting posters and just $100, like boom, put that out there, like coming soon and stuff. I put so much money out that I had over 40 distribution companies saying, we want this film now. Here's everything. And I'm like, are you forgetting the money part? And they're like, oh, well, we don't purchase movies, but we want yours. I'm like, you didn't even see it yet. You know, it's like, you didn't even see it yet. Well, how do you know it's not a piece of shit? You know, you're just like, but they want content, and they look at if there's someone doing the marketing for them, they're going to get all the gravy.
That's right. That's right. They do get the gravy, and we get dry chicken fried steaks in the process. Now, we both went through, and also another friend of ours, we went through a distributor.
Yeah.
It was an aggregator. And you
so we'll stop a second and say hi to Nick and Jason Rubaker and Mike and good old Neil. We years later, we still didn't forget about you. We tagging to Todd Jenkins and Alex Ferrari and Joe Dane on that one too.
Yeah, somebody did you get after they went belly up and all that? Did you get the email where there's one of those guys are starting a new company said, I know y'all got the shaft last time, but come to this one, we'll do it the right way.
Yeah, it was Neil who basically Alex Ferrari got him to go on his show, and basically to sum it up, it was an hour of I wasn't a part of the problem. I don't know what happened. I'm over here now. Come with me.
Yeah,
I could sum up the whole thing in 12 seconds with that sentence. So, you know, I don't recall the old Reagan years. You know, you're just
it's like a dirty horror as you go. Really, I know I had chlamydia last time and that wasn't that good, but I swear it's all cleared up this time, so we can go ahead and fuck if you want. That's what it felt like. So
yeah. So, but for anyone who's new, the distributor was the aggregator that cut out these people that we're talking about, where we could host their film basically in a library. Where the outlet, you do the marketing, and if your film gets hot, the outlets come and scoop up whatever film that they desire, horror, comedy, or whatever. But it's 100% on you to do the marketing. So now you're paying more out of pocket, but they pay you quarterly. I think they took 20%. And you were supposed to get 80. And these guys were all screwed over, I believe, by other distribution companies. So they created this, independent platform to free us from all that. And they went about 10 years. And Billy, I don't know when you joined. I joined within a year before they did exactly what happened to them and screwed over 1,000.
It might have been a year. We got a decent paycheck from them the first quarter. And then all of a sudden there was absolutely nothing. You know what I mean? It's like we got a decent paycheck. I dare say that first paycheck might have been around $10,000 or something. And I think, dang, this is going to be pretty cool. And then they just dropped off the face of the earth.
And without, you know what? It sucks that whatever they did, it sounds like Nick Swartz, I think is how he says his last name. I think he was the one that had his hand in the cookie jar the most. He's the main guy, according to Joe Dane when I had him on the show said anyway. But I believe it because Nick hasn't said a word. But I can't. It would be a little bit different if they just sent an email out and said like, "Sorry, we let you all down. We're taking our films down so you could go elsewhere. You know, sorry, we suck. Whatever." We would have hate that, but the fact that they left them up, and for anybody who doesn't understand, like my film, particularly probably Billy's too, we were on Amazon, and for order for the film to come down, to basically to go back in our hands to try to get it put back up, so the money actually comes to us, it's still in their system. So they left us high and dry. It was basically like you left the doors open to your house, and and people are going in and stealing everything from your house. It's basically what was happening. And everyone's like, "Oh, I saw your movie last night." And you're like, "Thank you," but you don't freaking understand. Like,
thanks.
Yeah. So it took me 40 times easy with emails to finally get that taken down. And it wasn't the same person I was talking to. So I'd explain, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, we got word of this. We're working on it," asking for info. And then someone else would be like, hi, I'm taking this email for Kevin at the courtesy of Amazon. Can I help you? And I have to go back over all of it again. And you got to stay patient, but it took a long time. But what burnt me up about those 4 guys is they got jobs like so fast. Like we're swimming in shit. And you know, and I got my cast members asking me what's going on. Like, oh, it went down here, it went down there. And it's like, I don't want to like announce at that time, like, hey guys, I kind of let you down, even though I didn't do it, but like, you know, I got to fix this. You know, it was very embarrassing.
Well, I agree too, is they were filmmakers and they were doing this to help filmmakers. So the way it ended and what they did, it's not cool. I wouldn't do that to another filmmaker in the world. Is the idea they had, and I think some other people was trying to start one too, is like, if there was a legitimate one that did that, it would save all this indie film stuff. But it's just, I guess when people see money, it's just they think of greed or whatever, and shit goes backwards. And the easiest person in the world to screw with are indie guys, because what are we going to call a lawyer? You know, we're eating ramen noodle because we spent our last dime on our film.
We're still paying the bills while we're waiting for money to come in, and they knew that. They knew that if we can't lawyer up and fight them. It was like it was like 12th graders playing kindergarten in dodgeball. Like it wasn't even a fight. Like, yeah, you know, so yeah, folks.
I'll tell you this though, I got lucky on that pulling the stuff down, because when I went to Dread, because I really dug what they did with Terrifier, and they got this guy working for them called Joe Hui, Hui, Joe High, why? Anyway, badass mofo. It's like, I really like that dude. He's like their tech dude and all that. Okay. They put a call out to that guy. He can make shit happen for some reason. But anytime I ever had an issue with that guy's on top of it. So he's a go-getter. But he had us pulled down on everything really quick. So that helped a lot going to them, at least getting me pulled off of that stuff.
That's great. And I believe as of now, like they're going to court. Like there's a legal suit, but you and I and the other 1,000 filmmakers, we're just going to see pennies on the dollar, which is
bad.
Yeah. So in the end, we could probably celebrate with a 3/4 paid of pizza, and the rest we're going to have to pay out of our pocket.
I believe that the thing too is, if you do ride and you make a good movie, the cream will always rise to the top.
Yeah.
And I still stand by that. Now, when I make my next movies, it'll be different. Like I said, if there's any upfront money, I think I would, because I turned that down a little bit on Circus, but I wouldn't this time. I don't think. I think I would take upfront money for a stake in something, because that back end sometimes too hard to get anything back in return.
Yeah.
You also mentioned that promotion too. Is I think whatever I spent my budget on making the film, I think I would want to spend about that same amount on promoting it, because you make the movie and you get all the pennies out of your damn change thing in your car or whatever, and you get this movie made and you go, ooh, that was hard. That's all I got to do, you know. But it's like, no, man, it's just starting. It's that promotion. You got to get out there and hit the streets, and that's good to sell that title out there to everybody.
Without a doubt, I could tell you easily it was $10,000 to $15,000, and that was over the course of years out of my pocket working overtime. And what I mean that is like an ad in Scream magazine. You got your shirts, you got your stickers, and anything cool you think your movie logo might work on. And then it's conventions where you go to the tables and your movie's not even ready yet, but you're giving out free posters like, here, keep an eye on this, add the Facebook page, and all that adds up, all the gas money, staying home, buying the tables. But you are reaching, if you're making a horror movie, if you're not going to conventions, you're not in this. You're
even more so than film festivals. I think people say film festivals. Now I love film festivals and they're fun, but those are usually other filmmakers there at those things. The conventions, that's the fucking fans, man. That's who you want. And that's something I take pride in is to treat the fans really good. And I love them, other than Lance Wagner. That's the only one I hate. But
he's a redheaded troll. What's wrong with him? Oh wait, he doesn't have hair.
I'm saying that. That's what made me love doing this is going to those conventions. It was accidentally at Texas Frightmare, I think, 2011, 10, and somebody had me enter my Dollboy short. The first thing I did, and I hated it. And it blew up there, and it's like people still to this day talk about that. It's like so funny what a convention will do if you get the right thing in their hands. It's like that's what's made my career is the conventions, that and a decent movie.
Yeah, by far, bro. I really liked the whole vibe down there when I was down there because for anyone who knows me, I usually drive cross country once a year, and I always revolve it around a convention. So like the year before, it was Horror Hound in Indianapolis, but this year I set up for Texas Frightmare. But I really like the environment, and I saw some like drama stuff going on, but like compared to what happens over here on the East Coast, it was a light beer. Like I was like, oh, that all that's happening here?
No movie business without drama, that's for sure. But that goes on making the movie too. I mean, that goes on with hell, it goes on at home.
Without a doubt. But I would say one thing I liked about you guys down there, they seem to be more receptive to people like you, who are, you're the indie guy. You seem to have always at least 3 to 4 people waiting to meet you. Like when I would do this and other filmmakers like me around here, you could kind of go 15, 20 minutes before someone even looks your way because they want to meet the Friday the 13th and the Scream people. Like they're kind of like cool, but call me in a few years. Where I think in Texas and that lower area down there, I think they just like, what do you got here? Yeah, I'll buy that. What do you got? Yeah.
I'll take a chance. Yeah, maybe it's that Southern hospitality though. But the coolest thing is, I'll tell you one story about Frightmares. I try to convince everybody about it. If I see them wearing a Devil's Rejects or House of Thousand Corpses thing, I'll try to sell them on my movie. Not even just to make the sale. Well, this guy comes by and I was trying to sell him or something like that. I go, you know what? I said, I'll tell you what. So I popped open a DVD. I signed it and gave it to the dude. And he goes, well, no, I don't. I go, I tell you what, if you watch this movie and don't like it, you can bring it back to me next time I see you. Well, anyway, fast forward 3 or 4 years, this guy comes up to me and I try to act like I know everybody, at least. Like, I don't know who the hell you are, Lord. Yeah. But anyway, so this guy comes up and he's telling me the story. And he said, hey, it's sitting on my shelf. He goes, I thought it was some kind of goofy ass, cheesy indie movie. And I gave it a chance, man. And he goes, holy shit, that was actually a really, really, really good movie. And he goes, I'll come by here to bring you the $8 for the DVD. And I was like, it was like 4 years later.
That's a beautiful, dude. That's beautiful. Knowing anytime, and I know we all do. We get stressed at times of like, why am I doing this? It's little stories like that keep you going.
Yeah, well, it's the fans definitely. If it wasn't for the fans, I think I lost my. I think distributor. Prison raped me so bad that it kind of took away that excitement and enthusiasm about making movies. Now it's solely for the fans. I like to make the fans happy, and that's what I want to do. Even when I write scripts and stuff now, my new stuff, it's going to be what I did, and it's still going to be a good movie, but I'm really keeping fans in mind now. It's like I just really pay attention to what they like and what they don't like and stuff, and that's what I'm trying to do these days.
Absolutely. I dig it. So jumping back to Circus of the Dead, like this was, what year was this 2013, were you saying?
Well, we shot it in 2013. And then when I shot it, I go, well, heck, I can edit like nobody's business. I said, it'll take me a month.
Yeah.
It was a rough cut. And Lloyd at Frightmare said we could have a screening. We did 2-night screening, standing room only, which is a lot of damn people at Frightmare. And we showed a rough cut of it. And back then it was like 2 hours and 20 minutes long. Yeah. And that was the only complaint I got it, but it went off so well that it started, distributors started coming out of the thing and all this kind of stuff. And so we just did a rough cut in 2014. The film didn't get out until late 17. And that was with distributor. And then all that stuff went to hell in a handbasket. And then
the real release was when? The real release was when?
Yeah, the real release is probably 21.
Okay.
Yeah, so let that soak in. So you're talking like 8 years before it actually got a legitimate real release.
It's crazy because you always have people then asking you about it. The movie, you start feeling a little dated, maybe even, or kind of like I'm sick of looking at the damn thing. You love it, but you also like you have a love-hate for it. Like
you don't love it. I hate it, in fact. And two, there's like we had some older people in there, and I would damn say there's probably about 8 people that's passed away since we made that movie. You know, it's pretty crazy. And then people, ex-friends and stuff like that you don't want to have nothing to do with are in it. And so I'm looking forward to a new chapter, doing some new stuff. And we're trying to do Head Shop down there in Bastrop, in conjunction with the gas station down there and stuff. So actually film it on the stomping ground.
Wait a second, Billy. Are you talking about this gas station?
Yes. Did you get to go? Did you love it? Or
I was there probably the day before I met you. I remember I came from, I pit stopped in Austin and it was too much homeless. I was like, I'm getting the hell out of here. So I shot up. I was like, I'm gonna get up the Frightmare a little early, and I was like, I know the gas station's around, and I Googled it up, and it was like 20 minutes. I had an hour left, so I got there and I met that kid Caleb and all that. It was I met Caleb, and I'm sitting out back eating a roast beef sandwich, and I met the cool orange cat. He was hanging out with me for a while. Yeah, I think everybody who goes there knows the cat. So
I'm Chinese, so when I went there, I ate that cat. And
you horrible human!
I made some chicken chow mein or cat chow mein. It was real good. But no,
it had no meat in its bones. I don't know what you ate.
Yeah, I've seen those things out there. I don't know if that same one's out there. I spent about a week there going through a divorce one time, and they're closed for the holidays or something. And it was raining. It was the most surreal thing there. But I started writing Head Shop there in conjunction with that guy, with Roy Rose out at the gas station. And it was really good for writing there, you know, being depressed and having the blues and sitting back here with the rain and the cats and stuff. It was pretty dang cool. So it's something, you know, I'll remember the rest of my life.
That's awesome. And so you're helping them at an event, or you're trying to do an event there?
No, we're gonna do a movie together.
Oh,
yeah, we're just both lovers of horror, and we've sit and talked so much that we think we know how to do it right. So we're doing like a 50-50 thing. But he's alpha and I'm alpha, and we bump heads a lot. But I've yet to see one movie production where people don't butt heads.
Well, alphas and alphas in Texas. I'd never heard of such a thing.
Well, he's from Ohio, Cleveland, but we won't hold that against them. But
hey, that's a tough bunch out there too. Cleveland, yes, in Cleveland.
Oh yeah, he says it all the time. See, I didn't know. I said I thought all the rednecks and white trash were in Texas and in the southern states, and he's like, no, actually they're all up here too. So yeah, but no, we got something special. It's very Chainsaw 2-ish.
Oh darn!
Deliverance, yeah. So it's fun. It's very fun because I think that when I do these conventions and stuff like that, and they screen the movies, like, you know, that's a great test audience. That's your best test audience you'll get, because that's your audience. And there's parts where, like in Circus of the Dead, where they Noodle Dome slams that baby on the ground, and I've seen people get up and walk out of every screening, and instead of getting upset about it, I kind of giggle. But that's what you want, is when people see stuff like that.
You also don't want to offend the sake of offending and like, oh, that's how I'm going to make my career. But you also don't want a safe movie. You don't want like what's the point of that?
Well, you've seen how it's getting these days. I mean, you look at even look at Terrifier. They talk about the sawing, the woman's being sawed in half, and
yeah,
you have to have an oh shit moment in every horror movie. But shit, they're doing that in Walking Dead and stuff, and these TV shows. They're pushing.
Look at The Walking Dead. What was more violent ever in that one season when they had Terminus with the bashing with the face? And that, I mean, you want to talk about a physical hit, and then the pig. I was like, damn. I'm like, how are they getting away with this?
This is TV too, but think about you watching that 10 years before. You would have never seen nothing like that on TV.
No.
It's just everything's changed now. I think we could push it. When you have the Taliban and stuff like that cutting American soldiers' heads and stuff off, we're a little desensitized to a lot of things now. People think, hey, Billy, did you see this person I killed? And I go, I don't want to watch that shit. I only like fake stuff. I don't do the real shit.
You're absolutely right. And what you said about like the Taliban, like someone will be like, yo, they just call. I was like, do you want to watch it? Like, I don't know that guy, but he's on my team, and that's someone's son. No, I'm not watching that with you. And you're an asshole for like, get over here, everybody watch. I think that sucks.
That's what I say. I go, I'm not a 14-year-old boy going through puberty now. I don't have to see dead bodies and stuff like that. When I was young, you know, we had Faces of Death and stuff. We had Rent and stuff. But I just got over that the older I get. I guess the mortality and all that kind of stuff. I telling a story, you know, a fake story.
I look at what you just said. You said the F word, fake. Like all our characters, Circus of the Dead to the Dark Military to Terrified, it's all made up. But I also could even go as far as like as I got older, like when I see the guy walk around with a John Wayne Gacy shirt.
Yeah,
dude, I get what you're trying to go for, but like that really happened.
Yeah,
there's nothing funny about your shirt. Like you gotta think that a little. Same thing with Richard Ramirez or Charlie Manson. Like you gotta know where the line is.
And you know, it's those serial killers. I'm very enthralled with that, and I like doing it. Me and my girlfriend, we were talking about that recently. That she said she wasn't feeling good about wearing, serial killers and stuff. And I have like a serial killer guitar that I themed and made up, and I got a sign.
Did that happen to be made by the great Sean?
No, that's the Circus of the Dead guitar. Yeah, that one's pretty cool. That come from Sean did the work. I come up with the idea and everything, and we took some factory second parts that they found that were at the Peavey factory because Eddie switched companies and started his own company, Eddie Van Halen. So these were pieces that were left in the dark for I think 20 years or something.
Wow.
And this factory got open and they said, hey, sell it into a garage sale for all these guitar files. And I ended up with some pieces and we made a hell of a damn guitar because that's one of my favorites.
He sure did. And real second, I met Sean back in September when I was doing cross country. He lives kind of close to Hayes. Colorado, and I stayed there, and like I saw the madman shop and everything. It was pretty cool. He had a great guy. These are like the people, him and like Lance Wagner. All that. They're the people that are supporting people like us. They're well. Those people are great. I value them very much.
I do too. If I ever go through there, though, I'm going to take a big shit in this toilet. Probably is what I'm looking forward to. Sean Wood working in there, so.
Well, maybe Sean could carve something into it. Who knows? But yeah. So how many weeks did this take for you to shoot?
Don't be freaked out, but it took us just like 4 weeks.
Okay.
We did every day, and I worked a full-time job.
Well, I shot the Dark Military in exactly like 8 days. So I know. Yeah, but you got to keep in mind, you need to, as a director, kind of know. I took my cat. This is something else anybody could take knowledge to when they do their movie. I had like 70 cast members, and I said, "Here's the timeline. I have to have you all this week, and I'll cut you, and I'll never need to see you again. So we are going to shoot straight through. And it's literally like the woods are there." The police office is right there. Like, this is over. Everything was within a quick 2 mile. Okay. So everybody knows setups is everything. Setups is what slows a film down. So, when you got cranes in the woods and dropping the lights, like now let's move it over here, or everybody turn around and look this way. It looks a different set of woods. You got to have literally Dark Military, a military type of thing of like, go, 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 go. And, we did that because I've seen people.
I need to see your movie. I haven't seen it yet.
It's free on Tubi and Zumo.
Okay, well, I'll make sure I watch it. I'll make the. I got a stepson here now, and we like to watch that kind of stuff, so we'll watch it for sure.
Yeah, who knows? You might even notice an actor or two in there. So because it was a big cast, and that was kind of not too many years after you, and I had like a 4-year. You said like about technically up to 2021, but you did release it in 17, so you had basically a 4-year. I kind of had a 4-year situation too because. My editor bought a house right after the movie, so I'm kind of like trying to help him get his house together so we can start editing. And then, we're both working jobs on top of that. So then you got your cast, like, when's it coming out? When's it coming out? Now they're losing interest a little bit. So it's so hard, basically, folks, like to do something like this. Like you have to see it through. Your name's on the line. You can't just film it and shelf it. I don't know how. I know people. I don't know how they do that, but
they do though. I think it's probably. What would you think? At least 4 out of 10 people do that start off in this movie thing. Maybe more.
What I think happens is, it's the soft PC world we live in. It's coddling. It's gotten worse the last couple of years. That's a whole different story. But I just think people look at like, I made a film. Glory, glory, glory. And then like the work starts. Okay. And then it's like, I didn't think it was gonna be this hard. Yeah. I kind of miss this over here and that. I'll get back to it. And then their heads down. Like, what happened to your movie? I thought you were taking over the world, So you got to obsess. I obsess over something. Like, I have to, if I start painting a room, I have to complete it that night.
Yeah.
I have to, everything, or I won't be able to sleep. So when you're making a movie, you believe me, I'm like right back at work the next day thinking about, all right, as soon as we get there, we pull those clips up, and you're just so.
Well, you're a traffic coordinator, traffic cop, so to speak, when you're a director, especially on India's. You gotta kind of do everything. It's like you said, putting everything in one space is real smart. We did that too. Is we had a studio in an underground warehouse. We shot all the stuff within a quarter mile all around those buildings in downtown, except when we shot at my haunted house. So it's like we kind of kept it there. And that's how
when you watch my movies, right, you'll think there's a lot of different spots, but it's like it's really not. It's just, but that's the only way you can make a movie like and turn out like we shot on 2 red cams, like because there was so many people, more coverage, 2 cameras. We get wrap this up a lot quicker. So. And I'm like a war general because I'm trying to keep everyone's spirits up. I got to do my lines. I got to, make sure everybody eats. Hell, I dropped over $2,000 in food.
Yeah.
And what I mean that is like, it's not like I paid every actor. I'll say that straight up front, but I want them to have not Domino's. I want them to have, beef, this. Oh, you're vegan? I got you this. You're vegetarian? I got you this. And this is just a courtesy thing I would tell filmmakers is when it was time to eat, a lot of people are like, get the director his food, leave the director alone. It's the director.
Yeah.
I did not do that. I lined up at the beginning of the table and said, like, I appreciate you. Go. Next one. I was the last one to eat. Showing respect to my cast. And I kind of want them to keep with that, keep that in their head. Like, let thank you.
I think a good movie starts with a well-fed cast. I would say that's important. I know I saw Bill Oberst Jr. and Paris Randall one day over there eating and talking to one another. And I said, you guys, what are y'all talking about? Is it private? And they go, we're just saying that we're not eating, Little Caesars, and we're eating some barbecue, like real barbecue and real food, with forks and knives and all this stuff. We can't believe it. So I said, just usually how indie movies are made.
I'll give you a funny story everybody can relate to with these 2 characters because you definitely know them. Bill Moseley and Sig Hag were doing one of their million Q&As over the last 15 years until, unfortunately, Sid went to horror movie heaven. But they talked about an independent movie that they kept feeding them pizza. And they said, is there any filmmakers out there? And someone said, like, some people put their hands up. He goes, we're going to explain something to you. If you're going to feed us pizza every day, you're going to get a pizza performance out of us. And it's right. It's like, they don't feel, like take care of them. They go that he said, feeding your cast goes a long way and the crew. No one wants to eat Domino's every day, no matter how much they like pizza.
Yep. But I learned so much. That's why I can't wait to dive into the next one. To do that. I've done a bunch of shorts and stuff in between here or collaborations on anthologies. Like I did one with Cryptids with Joe Bob. And it was done by Zane Hertzberger and Justin Seaman that did the Barn Part 2 and all that stuff.
Yep.
And I think we're finally wrapping that up. But I shot that right before I got cancer. So it's like funny, like there's a lot of stuff that you may shoot 5 or 6 years ago and revisit 5 or 6 years later. It's kind of funny to hear you directing and stuff. You're like in a completely different place in life. So
and I just came friends with you on Facebook when you were going through that. So
okay, boy, it took all my hair and everything. It damn near killed me, I dare say. I don't think I've ever been that close to death in my whole life.
And here you are standing strong and tall.
Or am I a zombie?
But you didn't bite me when I saw you, so far so good.
Unless it's a cat, and I put it in the fried rice.
Yeah, but so what would you give advice to any filmmaker that's trying to dive into this mad world right these days?
Is this to talk to other filmmakers that's done it and actually listen to them? It's to me and if somebody's watching this and you're a filmmaker, write this shit down. I'm going to say it again. You need to write this shit down. But if you can't fucking focus a camera or get good sound, then don't make a movie. Don't fucking make a movie because you can't even do the basics right. That's the stuff that's killing this industry right now. Find somebody that can help you. Maybe you're just a great writer and you find a good director or whatever. Just the simple basics is what's killing it. Is like if I put an indie movie on and you can't hear what's going on, or they're recording with the camera's mic and they're like 30 feet away from the person and they're doing a serious performance. I mean, come on, guys. It's just this little basic stuff. So get the basics. And if you want to learn the basics, go volunteer on an indie set somewhere. Just be there and see what's going on, because then your ass isn't on the line. You can watch other people and what they do and how they handle these issues, and it's just going to come in very handy. There's a lot of local people here, and anybody in film in this area hits me up, and there's some real good filmmakers and stuff too, and that's what they're doing is they cut their chops on my set, and now they're doing their own stuff, and new guys are going to their sets and learning. So it's just like paying it forward, but just the basics. You can make a good film with an iPhone these days. Just make sure you're focused and make sure you got good sound and stuff like that, you know?
So to mirror what you just said, because I loved everything you just said, I would definitely say lighting and audio make a film. The actors cannot shine. I don't care who they are. They need that. And exactly what Bill, you just said is what I did. I volunteered for a horror movie that took about 30 days to do. And I mean, I'm walking in and I'm watching these lights get set up, these 650s and 350s, and they're using this language. I have no idea what they're talking about. So just be honest, just be like, hi, I am brand new. I will do whatever you want, but I'm here to learn and mirror. And I also say, if you show up for one of these movies and it's just a guy with a camera and no other equipment, this isn't the guy to mirror.
No,
it's not. Because I can honestly say, before I did that, I was making a lot of short films with a group that every weekend someone knew was the director, because they're just walking around with a camera. And guess what happens after a while? You watch someone walking around with a camera. This doesn't look hard. I'll be a director. So we're all making this output of what I call a sea of shit. It took for me to sending this out to people that were like, oh, I've been hearing you doing a lot, like that. They laughed in my face and was like, all right, buddy, sit down. You ready for this? And then you're like, okay, don't be afraid. You can't have your feelings get hurt either.
At all. No.
Something.
I'll say one more thing too, is we've adopted this at Frightmare. It's like my heart and soul is what I do, is this fake trailer showcase that I do every year out at Frightmare. And I say showcase because I don't like pitting filmmakers against one another, but I do where when Grindhouse come out, remember they had the fake trailer competition, and then Hobo with a Shotgun won it. And then when Jason Eisner did that movie, he had a contest, and I entered Mr. Fister, and it did unbelievably really well. And but I thought that's the best way to learn to make a film, because you could do that in 2 or 3 days. You do this little 2-minute video, and it's like a little bit of part of everything. Somebody talking, doing a soundbite, or somebody doing some action, and it kind of will show you what you're strong at and what you're weak at. So I tell everybody when I do this filmmaking 101 class with Chuck Norfolk and Courtney Sandifer, is that we tell them that, go out and start small. I mean, if you're brand new, can you imagine doing a feature brand spanking new and not ever picking up a camera?
No, and that's why I would say kind of what you're saying here, but I would also say, tell yourself, I'm not making a film for a year. I could start prepping in my head, but try to go volunteers for some features and some short films, and make sure they're different people each time, because you could start comparing things. You could start
pick up their bad habits too.
Yes.
Within bad habits, yeah.
Yes, you're going to spot things, because I remember after I volunteered for that movie set, getting my first feature film that never was released, where I was one of the leads I was hired for, and it was a college kid with a camera. Like, I went from all this down to here, and little by little, like, I wanted to show respect, because he's like the director, but after a while I pulled him aside. I'm like, can I say something? You won't get mad? I'm like, why are you not shooting it this way? Like, oh, okay, yeah. And I'm like, why is the new guy telling this guy? So yeah, it's also called one of those live and learns. And it sucked, guys, because the film I'm talking about, I had to drive 2 hours to go shoot all day.
And
it never came out. I was like a college school teacher and stuff. Like, I had all the clothes and all that. I was so pumped. And then, like, he sent me like a little clip of it that night, and I was like, ooh, like I don't want to share this even, because he shot me from far away and he has no audio.
Right.
You're just hearing me from back here delivering dialogue. So
I cut my chops doing I come down here to Midland, Odessa, and they had a photographer spot open at the videographer at the local TV station, and that they didn't hire me for that position, but they hired me for the crew doing the newscast, and that's where I got my foot in the door. And within 4 or 5 years of directing news, then I jumped to creative service, and that's doing 1 or 2 commercials a day for 20 years. That's what taught me to make movies a lot better, is the whole focusing, getting sound and this and that, and doing something with nothing. Because you show up to a shitty car lot that's 110 degrees out here in West Texas, and they say, hey, whatever you want to do, just do it and get us the hell out of here because we're tired, and you got to pull some magic out of your butt in an hour to get everybody out of there. So that's where I cut my chops, is on local TV production.
Good. That's you can't get much better than that besides a movie set. Like, it's TV and film. That's where you got to learn.
It was doing that and doing gay porn. That's how I met Lance Wagner and Sean Smith and Brian Clay.
I think that's how Lance is still making a living, eh?
You ever see their movie 3 Men and a Dildo? It was like 3 Men and a Baby, but it was a dildo, yeah.
Fun.
And I use that term men very loosely.
But getting back, I know we've been talking about conventions, but just give the filmmakers a little recap about how important it is for them to, especially if they're into horror movies, how important it is to get involved with that.
Way more important than film festivals, I dare say, because like I said, those conventions are going to walk by. Don't shortchange yourself. Make sure you got good posters. Be open to criticism and get good quality stuff, because good quality stuff is going to make somebody remember you. A good name on your movie and all this kind of stuff. If you show up out there and you got your little sister made a poster board with your name and a drawn picture on it, you don't look very professional. Get your banner made up and make it look like you've got something that needs to be seen. And then you sell it with your personality and stuff, and it all starts there. And then they see the movie and hopefully they like it. But you'll meet more people shaking hands and kissing those babies at those conventions than you will at any film festival or anything else. So that's just a really good way to do it, is get out there and meet people at these conventions.
I will also say, in addition, what Billy's talking about falls into the evening hours too. Like like when these conventions end at a certain time, but there's the after party, there's the bar, there's the restaurant, there's the standing outside. Like for years, everyone's like, "How you meeting all these people?" It's like, you stay.
Yeah.
You figure out a way to try to get into a conversation. Maybe a friend of a friend of a friend. You know what, guys? There's times where you can try to start a conversation and they excuse themselves. Like don't take that rudely. They either had to go or maybe they're unsure of you for a little bit. But everybody's got to play the game a little bit.
Yes. We teach them that in that when we do the fake horror trailer showcase. I'll have everybody that was filmmakers stand up at the end, and then have them all come up to meet and greet with one another up at the front. Make those contacts, because I always say that's very important. So we try to do that too, and try to teach it to other people too. But they'll figure it out. Get to the conventions, watch other people. Even go to a convention and watch what Lauren's doing, or don't watch what I'm doing, because that's going to be probably very obscene. But watch what other professionals are doing and just see how they do it. See how these big, because you got celebrities too. Like Mosley's pretty good to talk to, and some of these people you'd be surprised how they're just like you or me and just good people. And I think that's where I learned to act. I learned a lot of my act about to the fans from Parrish Randall, because that dude treated his fans really good. And when I first met him, I said, "Hey, I want to be like that." So I just try to do that, is treat my fans really good, because he does do that. So for sure.
Yep, absolutely. It's a beautiful community. Maybe it's because you don't see them as much, because it's like there's only so many conventions a year, but it's amazing when you kind of arrived, when you could go to any convention across the country and it's like, there's him, there's she. You get to know the vendors even and stuff, so it's a beautiful community. And one thing I tell myself even, but I'll tell everybody else, for like you, Mike, myself, Billy, we grew up on horror movies and stuff. You heard him earlier talking about, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 and all this stuff. But don't forget, don't ever lose your fandom. And I mean, that doesn't mean go up to Robert Englund and try to hug him and all that. I just mean, like, I go to the Q&A still. So, like, the Monster Squad Q&A, that happened in Texas Frightmare, same thing with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre reunion. It's still awesome to go in and sit down with the fans and just listen to what stories about that era. It's really important not to forget why you loved where you came from.
And be very respectful to them. I'll tell you my Sid Haig story. I went to that first Frightmare and I even wrote Circus of the Dead because I love the Captain Spaulding character so much. But I seen him walk in the hotel. I didn't know what to do. It was fucking Sid Haig. It was the first time I saw something like this. And I went up to him to shake his hand, and he goes, "Hey, calm down. Calm the fuck down, Sparky. I'm here all weekend." That's what he said. But now we fast forward 2 or 3 years, and I was doing that circuit on Days of the Dead. And we were in, where were we? I think we were like Chicago or something. It snowed in or something. And we were eating breakfast, me and a couple of guys from Circus. And he goes, "Bloody Bill." He goes, "Can I sit down and join you guys for breakfast?" And I was thinking to myself, holy fucking shit, man. It's like I finally fucking made it in life. It's like he just treated me like I was one of the guys there, at the end. And I just felt so happy for that, though. But that's the same thing with Marilyn Burns. I had stuff to do with her too, and I didn't get to it. And I had stuff to do with him, and I didn't get to it. And it just scares me all these people passed away so quickly and stuff. So my heroes, from the horror world.
Well, I say this every day, including like today. I always say make the best you could out of every day. But when you're at a convention and you're starting to feel you're running out of gas and you're looking at your watch or your phone and you're just like, I got to get out of here. Question, be like, what's another few hours? Because you might not, you know what I mean? That you might remember, especially if you're hanging out with someone older that like, this could be the last time you see this person.
You're right. I mean, I can honestly probably give you, Angus Scrim I met, Dieter Laser from Human Centipede, he's passed. Just think about all the people, Sid, Marilyn, Gunner.
Yep.
It's just so many people that's already, the guys from Reanimator, the older guy, Stuart Gordon? Anyway, those guys are all gone already. It's happening so quick and stuff, and it's just so sad. So, you better take advantage while you can to meet your heroes.
Without a doubt. And I'll remember Brooke McCarter from The Lost Boys, which was my favorite movie. We were on first name basis. And, I always went the extra mile when he was here. We were always out in a big group with Billy worked and everything. But, we didn't know who knew at such a young age. He had a liver problem. And then just one day it's in the news feed, he's gone. So make it matter.
Yeah, most definitely.
Sweet. So I guess get ready to wrap this up here. You stay on when I cut this. I still want to chat with you about a couple other things. But where will we see Circus of the Dead? Huh?
Did you still want me to take my clothes off, or was that private?
That's going to be private. So not a cat's out of the bag. But give any plugs you got, especially for where anyone can see Circus of the Dead.
We're free. Check everywhere, but we're free on YouTube right now. Just search Circus of the Dead full movie. I think it's Horror Central has us. You can watch it free. I think there's a little spot or two that pops up, a commercial, but only 15 seconds. Watch it. I always tell everybody watch past credits. Keep an eye out what we're doing next. Cryptid should be coming out soon. It's an anthology. And maybe Headshop's coming here soon too. We're going to be shooting it soon. And then, of course, Cowboys from Hell, which is my labor of love. That's why I always wear this hat, to remind me never forget about my movie Cowboys from Hell. So that's going to be my opus movie that I can retire on and just say, okay, I did everything I wanted to do in life. So
sweet. Awesome. All right. Well, anyone who needs to contact you, what's a good way to get a hold of you? Just do social media?
Call my secretary, Lance Wagner, and have him reach out to me.
That is as I did, basically.
Yeah. He likes to sit on my lap and take notes, and that's usually the best way. And then he could tell me, so that way I don't have to be a dick and say I don't want to talk to Lauren.
Lance, you came through again. Thank you. But all right. Well, with that, I will thank this audience for taking the time, stopping by Average Superstar TV. Please get that subscribe button on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. And with that, will say the party is over, and I will shut this down.